right, man. Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hammoud. How you doing, man? Welcome to Roundabout.
I appreciate you having me.
It's been a long time coming. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a while. I remember last time we had a conversation, it was a couple of years ago, but you sat down, it was right after you got elected mayor. How have you grown in the 2 years since you've been elected?
There's no graph I can provide you that demonstrates just like the learning curve that comes with such an enormous responsibility. But at the same time, when I assumed the mayorship, I also became a father in that month. And I think that has honestly been the biggest blessing for this journey, is because when you become a father and you're raising a family, you have a whole new outlook on life and you have additional responsibility.
Wife and kids keep you grounded?
They absolutely do. They do not care for any title.
Did you ever think that when you were first elected that you would be in a position where you're not only talking about Dearborn statewide, but to nationally as well?
Never in a million years. I think for me, I ran on issues that impacted our residents on a day-to-day. Making sure your garbage is picked up on time, talking about stormwater infrastructure and how we can prevent flooding moving forward. But the reality is, when you have a conflict overseas that's impacting your residents directly, they are losing family and friends on a daily basis, when the war is eroding the trust that your residents have in government because of the decisions that are being made, it would be irresponsible to walk away and to not elevate the voices of your constituents. So yes, we have to talk about what's unfolding across in Gaza because it impacts my residents each and every single day here.
What kind of messages of hope do you give people? Because I know that this war has taken a toll emotionally.
The hope is in people. You see people protesting, rallying, coming together all across the globe. And poll after poll tells you that the majority of Americans want the war to end.
I know you used your platform once this war started back in October to really call out people who, weren't necessarily sharing the viewpoint that you wanted people to know about.
Yeah, I take my messages and my cues from the community. The number one message I want to send is that personally, myself and here in the city of Dearborn, people come first. People come before any political party affiliation. People come first before any presidential allyship or fellowship that you have or commitment that you might have because of a party you're affiliated with.
President Biden sent some of his aides here to have a conversation with you all, and you said, I'm going to sit this one out. What went into that decision?
At the time, the president decided to send over a campaign manager. And that would be the first interaction that we have with any individual affiliated with the presidency. And from my perspective, what was unfolding in Gaza, thousands of miles away, wasn't an issue that related to electoral politics. This was a humanitarian crisis. This was a genocide. And we wanted to impact the policy. And so it was, almost immediately once we got the invitation that we knew we were going to decline this meeting because this was not going to help move our community forward. This was going to make this issue political. This is not a political issue. So we declined that meeting, and a month later, they sent over a team of senior policymakers and decision makers. And I think that meeting was the meeting that we wanted to have initially, but as we see now, several months later, is still yet to produce or bear any fruit.
Do you feel like your voices are still being heard?
I can't really say so.
We're here at Fortson High School.
Greatest high school in all the land.
What was Abdullah, the high school student, like?
Very, very, very small in stature. I was on the wrestling team. I wrestled weight class 103, but I weighed in around 86 pounds. I got a picture of me in my singlet.
Hold on.
Yes.
So you were 86 pounds, you wrestled 103?
Yes, there was no weight class smaller than 103.
How have the experiences you had growing up helped you to be a better mayor, husband, father that you are now?
You know, many people ask, you know, what books or policy books are you reading to implement the policies today as mayor? And I say, honestly, it's life experience. You know, as somebody who grew up, I'm the second oldest of 5 children to 2 immigrant parents. You know, we never had the means of being able to afford a pool pass for all the children to go to the community pool each and every single day. And so one of the first things I did in the first summer, we made pools free for all children 13 and under. There was one home that we spent most of the years on Appeline Street.
This, the brown one?
This one, the brown one. Whenever I think of my upbringing, this is the house that I think of.
Yeah?
And in this city, you know, again, when I'm out in the public, I don't really care to be called mayor. For many constituents don't. You know, they refer to me as either, you know, the husband of Fatima, who people know, my wife, or the son of, you know, my father and my mother, or the nephew of my uncle, who's a local preacher here in the city. And so for me, it's that mindset of staying humble.
Mayor Abdullah Hammoud, I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.